Hi there. So today I thought it'd be really fun to show you how to make a super simple trellis. So I've needed a trellis for my cucumbers for quite some time now, and the one that I really want isn't going to be in stock for another like 3 or 4 weeks. So I figured, why not just make my own using some leftover wood that I have at home. So I have 8-foot 1x2 cedar planks, and I'm just going to be using about 6 of those for this project. It's going to cost you less than 25 bucks. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each one of these at 5 feet long. I'm going to go ahead and cut one of them and then lay them on top of each other so that they're all the same length. Okay, so I'm going to make this trellis about 4 foot wide, so I went ahead and just laid them on the ground at 4 foot wide, and I'm going to cut 4-foot pieces that are going to go across horizontally. That I did is I went ahead and cut 3 of the 8-foot sections at 4 foot each and ran all 6 of them across these other sections. So now I'm just going to make sure that they're the same distance apart, and to do that I just went ahead and cut a 7.5-inch block that I can just lay in between each time I want to go through and nail them. That way, you know, I don't have to pull out the measuring tape. I just lay this in between, and it just makes it a lot faster when I'm nailing these in. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to basically create a hinge on the back of each one of these so that the trellis can stand on its own. Now, normally you would use like a metal hinge or something, but I don't really have anything like that right now, and I don't really feel like going to the store, so I'm going to MacGyver this situation, and I'm just going to use a piece of burlap. You can also use like a piece of ribbon or just anything that you have on hand. I'm going to go ahead and fold it so that it doesn't fray, because I don't want it to fray on the ends. And then I'm just going to staple it to the back of these, and then that way it will, and then I'm gonna staple this side too, and then that way it will create basically a hinge so that the trellis can stand on its own. Okay, so now you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this in so it doesn't fray, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the back of the trellis so that it can hinge that way. One thing you want to make sure is that it actually sits on top of it and not here, because I don't want all that weight just to be on the burlap. I want this piece of wood to support the weight of the trellis. So I'm going to go ahead and attach it about right there. What I was saying before, so these are basically kind of leaning on the trellis and not out here, so hopefully that will keep it stable. If not, I can again go back and put a hinge in there. Like that, I have a new trellis, so now I just gotta put it in the garden. Okay, so I got my cucumbers on the trellis that I just made. Hopefully they will do much better on here than they did all over the ground. I'm sure they will. They have been giving me cucumbers, and as long as I catch them in the early stages, they were good. However, because they've just all been jumbled on the ground waiting for me to trellis them, I haven't gotten very good cucumbers. These are just some examples of the cucumbers I just took off the vine. Like, they are gigantic because I didn't see it because it was jumbled under a bunch of leaves. They are super irregular shaped. So anyway, I mean, most of them are fine. However, I think this will really help this scenario. Okay, so that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe below if you did, and I will see you next week. Bye!